If you're here to do a little bit of this, then
yeah, exactly. Invited.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Just like if this meme is your thing,
just
like
you should make that your intro. Like if this is your vibes, just.
Hi, I'm LadyJenevia, and on my channel, I like to talk about entertainment media. Today, I am thrilled to not only be revisiting the magical world of Netflix's Bridgerton, I will be doing it with a very special guest. It's Divya G. And if you're wondering what the G stands for, it stands for gargantuan talent. That is how
I love
would be describing her, because it's accurate.
High stakes.
It is. Like, your videos are incredible. Like, I've never seen...
Oh, thank you.
Talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular.
Before we get into things for today, I do want to remind everyone watching this video that donation links for Palestine are in the description box, and I've also added the link for the website for bail funds for university students that are, as usual, standing up for human rights while the evil empire acts like itself. Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Now, Divya, how familiar are you with Netflix's Bridgerton?
Wow, I've watched everything that's been released officially so far. So I would say I'm not like a rabid fan, but I do enjoy watching. I enjoy the drama.
Yeah. Low stakes drama. Rich people drama, you know.
Yeah,
not real problems. Like, it will absolutely work out in the end.
Yeah.
Because they're rich and they're going to fall in love. Hot people being in love. Can't relate. But
it's just
we love to watch it.
Doing the things. Yeah, exactly.
Well, go on.
For me?
Well, I should not know how to do it.
You believe I should?
Have you read any of the books?
Girl, I'm not a reader anymore. I do not read.
We're a book club.
I know that. How stupid do you think I am?
I was like, I just want to see it. I don't want to read it. I'm sure the books are fantastic, but no.
Take it away before I gag.
So I have now read books 1, 2, and 4. So for people who are commenting,
how many books are there?
There's a lot, because there's
a lot.
There's the 8 Bridgerton children, but then there are prequels and spin-offs. I don't even know off the top of my head how many there are.
The problem is I hate reading. I get bored.
It's like a whole world. Is it worth reading? That's the
MCU
question.
is tanking, which I'm fine with because it's propaganda. So maybe the Bridgerton universe,
the Bridgerton MCU, yeah.
The extended Bridgerton cinematic universe, circa
Marvel
Netflix.
Should be scared.
People actually have sex in Bridgerton. They don't.
Yeah, that's
in the
true.
MCU. So.
That's true. And that's what the viewers want to see. We don't care about anything else. We just want to see that.
I mean, you could take a vacation to AO3 and you'll see what the people want.
Yeah.
Swollen. Turgid. Tumescent. Perfect.
Nitpicking is actually why I've brought you on today, because there was a little incident with the Bridgerton show's marketing and the fandom. There was a poster released, and I'm just gonna make sure that we're fully festive here. So, yeah. I have sent you the images, so you know what we're talking about today. There was a poster released, which is on my side of the screen. And then Nicola Coughlan, the Irish icon herself, she posted the image that's behind you. And people just had so much to say about this. Not just the stunt of, I'm going to drop what may or may not be the original from the poster.
Yeah.
And
bold move.
Yes. We love that. A stunt queen. Again, low stakes drama. I love this. People had a lot to say about not just her dropping the image, but the differences between the two. Now, for anybody who's not familiar, which I don't know why they wouldn't know, if you watch my channel, you should know who Divya is. That's just ridiculous. I mean, she's far more successful than I am on the platform. She is far more skilled at editing and all of the things people need.
The compliments are too much. I don't know how to react. So I'm just sat here like, oh, tell me more.
If people need an explanation or further context, I invited Divya on not only because she's very excellent on YouTube, but because she has a level of expertise to offer that I cannot in regards to things like photo editing And she's got a number of videos about book covers and about making her own covers for books that may or may not actually exist in real life. So there was just nobody better that I could think of to bring on to talk about these interesting editing choices. Some of them
Changes.
some of them are more or less controversial than others. First things first, though, it seems like Nicola was more heavily edited than Luke. And to be fair, I would guess that some of that is bound to happen because she's more so in the foreground. She's more of the focus in this image. It's not a poster where it's a side-by-side couple shot. And I do believe there is another poster that's like that. But I don't think it helps with an audience response when there is this pre-existing tendency for women to be put under extreme expectations about appearance, face, body, hair, wardrobe, makeup. Men can show up to black tie events, Hollywood award shows in the same old suits that they always do, and nobody has a thing to say about it. So I get why the response was at the level of energy that it was. But when you first were sent these images by me, what were your first thoughts of what jumped out at you?
Honestly, it's the face. Like, because I think Nicola, isn't it? She's like a beautiful woman, and they've just completely swapped her face. They've done a lot. Like, I know probably what they've done is they've taken another photo and then they've kind of edited it onto the original photo. But it does also look like they've kind of like given her a nose job, given her lips.
Really?
The eyebrows. Yeah, to me, it looks like the nose is like slightly bigger, more protruding out. And I don't know if that's just to make it stand out or to like sculpt it a little bit more. But it just, I think because we see the images side by side, that whole uncanny valley of like something is not quite right is even more apparent than perhaps if we never saw the first image in the first place, or the original image. Because if you look at, I think there's another poster where it's her face in a mirror. The editing style is very similar, like the color scheme's the same. I'm pretty sure it's the same editor and photographer who made that. But she looks a lot more like herself there than she does here. So that's what stood out to me. And versus, what's his name? Luke or Colin? The only thing they've done with him is kind of just changed his gaze from what I can see. Like before he's like staring directly at the back of her head, and then now he's looking kind of up. And it's just like, I understand why they might do it. So for example, you know, the first image that I think might be the raw image or the unedited one, they're kind of looking at each other, and to me it's giving tension. It's giving like something's a little bit sensual, is a little bit but then the second, like the final photo, has a completely different mood and tone and vibe or like emotion that I get, because she's not even looking at him. She's like, this is my time to shine. Like, and he's just like, oh. So I wonder if that's also because like, what did the caption say? Like, even a wallflower can bloom. It's more like, okay, in this season, she has become this like object of desire. She's going through the, what do you call it? The whole maturity, the marrying age. And maybe it's about her coming to her own self, like standing out a little bit more with the final image. But something about the way that they've added a different face onto the body is just slightly uncanny.
Yeah, especially when you have the original image. I definitely have things to say about that part, but I was gonna talk about a multitude of edits just because I have you here, and if there's anything you wanted to add about those before we circle back to obviously the main event, which is the infamous infamous face swap. One of the first things besides the face that jumps out at me is the difference in color, because the original image is more muted. It's still colorful. It's not a black and white image, but the saturation, the vibrancy of the colors in the edited version, it's just been upped so significantly. And I don't know how I fully feel about that, because it almost borderlines on being like a cartoon. And I do feel like some of the negativity that I've seen towards not just this image, but a lot of the other posters that are edited in this same aesthetic and style, it feels like people don't like it. Maybe because it's too noticeable of an edit. Like it doesn't look like you just took the picture
Right.
and that's how they look. It looks like you made a calculated choice to really crank the dial, or however Photoshop works. To up the vibrancy. I don't know if
pretty much that's how it's done.
I don't know if you had any thoughts about that choice, or if you've ever studied anything where they say, oh well, doing this to colors does this, or anything to that effect.
I'm gonna be, I don't know if this is controversial. I quite like the color grading. Ooh.
No, but
I think
it's your honest opinion. You're not obligated to say anything except what you think.
I do understand when people say it looks cartoony, because I think one thing that stands out to me is the vibrancy of her hair. It's an orange that is slightly unnatural. I think also because we've seen her for 2 seasons, we know what she looks like. We know the color of her hair, and here everything's really like out and poppy. So the first image, I don't know if that's like the raw image, that's like the photo that came straight out the camera, but it's not untypical for a lot of photos to go through color grading process, like a very extensive editing spiel, especially for something that's a poster, a movie poster. If you look at any movie posters, and if you looked at the raw image, a lot of people would be surprised at how creative people, like the editor, was in like completely transforming it. I think for this one, they've gone with like sort of blue, orange, gold. I'm sure you've seen it in film as well, like blue and orange, or orange and teal is one of the most popular kind of color grade or styles people go for. There's a flurry of posters that I can't name off the top of my head, but if you research, you will find the same color scheme in basically every single Hollywood movie. I think the reason why it's so popular is, one, because a lot of skin tone has like an underlying of orange in it. So even if you're quite light or quite dark, there is some level of orange. So if you have an orange right next to a blue or a teal, which is complementary, the skin's gonna pop out, and clearly like she becomes like the focus of the attention, and the blues are like a really nice contrast. I literally wore this just because I was like, wait a minute. These are the colors of the poster.
It's fashion. Is it wait, but is it fashion? It's fashion.
And I know what people say about it looks a bit cartoony. I was looking at the other posters that they put for previous seasons, and I do feel like it might be slightly more saturated. But I feel like the poster for season 1 and the poster for season 2 and then 3, they all have their own sort of vibe that they're going for. And this one to me gives me like, you know, like historical romance books where the editing is slightly a little bit too much. And I don't know if that's what they were going for, like historical sort of, I don't know what you call it, like
ones where Fabio's on the cover.
Yeah, stuff like that. That was like what, 1970s or whatever. But even modern historical romances, if you look at them, especially the ones where you can see the editing is slightly a little bit like, woo, but that's like the style, and that's what people that's what you recognize. That's the vibes that this poster was giving me.
I think that they could have gotten away with a lot about how the colors pop the way that they do if this was a painting or just something hand drawn, where if you have that visible texture that comes from drawing or painting, I think your brain receives that information differently, because we're conditioned from seeing so much classical art. You don't even have to be I'm not an expert on classical art. I went to a lot of museums when I was in Italy, but I won't be able to drop art trivia for you. But I do think that your brain receives that information differently than when it's kind of overly corrected in a way, the way that it is with modern technology. You really don't have the money to hire a painter or a sketch artist or something.
Yeah, I think it's because it's that borderline between looking kind of like a painting, but also looking kind of just like extreme Photoshop, that I can see why people are a bit like, what is going on? Especially when you add on the fact that they've like edited her face quite a lot as well. But the color scheme is also kind of like, I don't know, it's very like what, Bridgerton blue? Is that a thing? Like
the Bridgerton family, their color is blue.
Yeah,
one of their main colors. Yeah,
I guess they're really shouting that out. Like, oh, will she go into the family? Won't she?
As if we don't know the answer to that, but you know, it's fun to play around. Ooh, maybe no. I mean, she does have. This is not a spoiler because this has been in the marketing. She does have another suitor this season.
Oh,
his name's Lord Debling. He's a blonde.
Oh,
I don't feel any one type of way about a person's hair color, but I'm just describing him for you. And
that's classic, isn't it? It's always blonde versus brunette, but normally it's with women. But now they're like, let's do it with men.
Which will she choose? Who can say? Certainly not I.
Will she choose anybody?
Oh, what a nice plot twist that would be. Like, actually, I'm going to be single. I'm going to work on myself.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the uproar of a season of Bridgerton ending with the girl being like, you know, I don't really need a man.
I feel like that's what the poster is giving me. She's not looking at him. She's like, she's looking away. She's like, okay, you look at me in this light. That's very like ethereal.
Yeah. Oh, well, that we can talk about that because I thought that there was some very odd choices with. So it was basically like they changed the window to be less visible or something like that. In the images that I sent you, there was a difference in the window. One looked like it was just a window, and then another one, it was like a window with the actual wooden grid framing. But then they added lighting coming into the room that is not there in the original image. So it was just a series of peculiar choices of I think I'm also the wrong person to look at this and think about lighting the way that other people would think about lighting, because it looks like they're trying to go for this, natural lighting, sunlight. Don't we love sunlight? Anybody who has a YouTube channel knows that natural lighting is an absolute pain.
Yeah.
Because you can't control it. Yeah. And a cloud rolls by and suddenly you're in a dark corner, like you're a gremlin. And if the sun is setting, you better hurry up and finish what you were going to say.
Yeah, in like half an hour.
Yeah. So anybody who either has a YouTube channel or is in video production, film production, television production, literally any type of production knows that natural lighting is not that girl like you think that she is. Like all of the coolest lighting
can be, but it's very finicky.
Yeah, all of the coolest lighting is completely artificial and manufactured. So there was something funny to me about actually looking at this lighting edit and really analyzing. You want the aesthetic of sunlight coming in, and I'm going, yeah, but they're not.
I
even
wonder
at
if the
window.
sunlight. Yeah, I wonder if the sunlight is just a framing thing. Like for the composition, she'd just be like, oh, this is the main focus. Look at how she's coming into bloom, as you could say. To me, I don't know enough about lighting to know if it's good or bad. I'm not gonna lie. I reckon it's just a framing thing. Like, okay, this is the focus. This is where your eye's meant to be.
I guess I never really thought much about editing to fully add. I know you can change certain color grading. Like sometimes I'll do that where, you mess with the brightness, but that's kind of more of like a uniform across the full image type of thing. Like when I'm doing video editing, I do some color grading on mine just because I don't know how to work with the settings on my camera. So I just film it and then I go, I don't like that. I'm going to lower the black and I'm going to change the contrast a little bit. I usually don't have to mess with brightness because I have a light on, so it's already bright. I just never really thought about the idea of adding fake lighting onto an image.
I think you'd be surprised just how many images are just completely artificial. Like with the power of Photoshop, you can just add whatever you want. You can put a car in a road that was never in that road type of thing.
But that editing makes sense to me. Of like, take an object and just plop it in. But layering in this lighting of there's sunlight in the room. No, it's not. This was probably shot in a studio.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like there's supposed to be a window off to the right or the left. Right? That's like shining or whatever.
Yeah.
But to me, that wasn't that surprising because editors, we make shit up for the emotion or tone that we're going for. Even though it's a pain in the ass because ideally you would want it to be most of the elements there on set on the day.
Yeah.
But I think what happens is maybe marketing department or maybe whoever visionary artistic director is like, wouldn't it be nice if we did this? And then people will have to completely add in stuff that was never there. And then so that's why sometimes it can look a little bit fake if you don't get it right. But yeah, to me, that wasn't the biggest. Like, I just kept looking at it.
It's not the first thing that you notice, but when it
yeah.
comes time to, okay, we're going to collab, we're going to do a video talking about this, I went through and I looked at every detail. Like the fact
I
that
love
they
that.
zhuzhed up the shrubbery.
We want a shrubbery. A what?
I think the flower stuff is related to the, I don't know what you call it, the tagline, even a wallflower can bloom. They were just like, look, there's flowers that is blooming. So I think it's probably just a nod to that, to be honest. But also, I don't know if the photo that is the one that Nicola posted, if that is the raw image, or are we looking at slightly shifted camera lens? Because in the final poster, her waist sits at like a different position than in the raw photo. So that's why I feel like either
it might be from the same photo shoot, but it might not be.
Yeah, the angle is probably slightly this way. So if it is the case, then the flowers are going to pop out a little bit more.
The word wallflower is very prominent. I know they keep using it in the marketing, but now that I've read the book, I also have more context for the fact that the word gets more so brought up in the book in certain ways. And I don't know if you want me to tiptoe around book spoilers or not, but
I'll watch the thing. I'll watch.
It's your choice. It's your choice. But yeah, the book does use the word in a particular way that, looking back on the marketing that I've observed until now, I go, oh, that's why you keep using that word.
Probably an Easter egg for the poster as well. Then like, look at this flower. It's
a flower on the wall. Get it?
It's a wallflower. Yeah. I suppose also it's a bit more romantic, isn't it? Because you associate flowers with romance.
Or funerals.
And that's true. Oh, is that a spoiler?
Oh, wouldn't that be fun?
I don't believe in the glorification of murder. I do believe in the empowerment of women.
See, here's
that
the
would
thing.
Be fun.
So I've thought about this, right? Of going, oh, well, you know, if you gave me the Bridgerton material, you plopped it in my lap. And I'm going, I don't think it would. I love romance fiction, but I don't think I would keep the world of Bridgerton romance fiction. I would turn it into, we're burning all of this to the ground.
I love that.
Death. Death to the enemies of the people of the Republic.
The curtains have been...
Yes.
I don't know.
Yesified.
What is the editing vernacular for, you basically did a steam iron, but it's Photoshop.
It's just, I think it's just like a cleanup is what I'd call it. I don't know the technical term either, but I think a lot of editors or in posters, you don't want to be distracted by things that you don't need to be distracted by. And people are going to nitpick, right? If you see the curtains are a little bit wrinkly, that doesn't add to the whole
vibe.
Fantasy, rich people. I was gonna say Regency, but I just said rich people, but
it's
that works as well.
Girl, they don't do Regency romances for people who work for a living because
exactly.
People, according to these authors.
Yeah, they just like neaten things out so that it's not something that adds to the. It's something that distracts basically the wrinkly curtains, and it doesn't fit the vibes essentially. Yeah, so I call it like a touch up, a clean up, something like that.
That's so interesting the way that you phrase that, because it immediately sparked this memory in my head, because Baz Luhrmann's Elvis lives in my head rent free. And Baz Luhrmann's wife, Catherine Martin, does the costume design, costume concepts on all his movies. And there was this interview that she did where she was explaining the comeback leather outfit for the comeback special. And in the movie, they had a bunch of different leather outfits, especially for the trousers, depending on which shot they were doing. It was like, okay, so these are the leather trousers we put on Austin Butler when you want his butt to look really nice. These are the ones when he needs to be able to move around because he's doing this part of the choreography. These are the ones that have been specifically tailored so that they're not going to ride up when he does a certain thing. And there were so many. the level of detail, and she explained it as the real outfit would bunch up and ride up and do things because it's an outfit. But she wanted it to look completely perfect and immaculate for the movie because that's how people remember it. And I was like, and this is why you two are geniuses, and I'm obsessed with you, and I would like for you to adopt me. But that's the thing, is when you do it for a living, when you do creative things for a living, and you're going to be the best at what you do. Not that they're doing it setting out to be the best, but I've declared that they're the best in my mind for what I like, maximalist art. And it's true, though, that those details that seem inconsequential, they're not.
Yeah, the average person wouldn't think about it, but anyone like costume designers, creatives, editors, they will spend days, hours, nitpick over all the little things. So you can probably notice like they've painted on her sleeves. Like the sleeves are not looking the same as it was. It was just stuff like that. Like you will go and do it because it needs to match the vision, it needs to match the vibes. And also, you can't be distracting. And also, I think if you left the curtains wrinkly, it just looks a bit unprofessional. It's like they have all this money. Why would they not? Why would it be like that? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I feel like a lot of people online would say that. Be like, oh, you're the show. You're the golden goose of Netflix right now because everything else is ending. And you couldn't get someone to steam iron the curtain.
Yeah, exactly.
They would have. Somebody, especially when people are just sitting around twiddling their thumbs waiting for the episodes to drop. So they have nothing but free time to nitpick.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the actual episodes to nitpick.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like how you styled this person in this scene, or I don't like how you did this plot line, or whatever the nitpick is. Yeah, so let's nitpick some curtains. Another edit that I found to be so odd. So skin edits are very common, right? Like I'm sure all of us have at one point or another, oh, I've got a bump there, I've got some texture, I've got a breakout, I want to erase that, I want to cover that up, whatever. So we all do that. So I'm very aware of face. I've never in my life thought, oh, unrealistic beauty standards for women. On our elbows? I missed that memo. When did we decide that elbows? It's like, oh, gotta clean up the elbow.
Oh my god. Yeah, I saw that. Where is her elbow? It's like, where's Wally, but where's her elbow at? Missing poster is just like a crop of her elbow.
I was like,
oh my god, yeah.
What was wrong with the elbow?
There was nothing wrong with the elbow.
Are people, if I, get myself looking right and tight and I move to LA and I start doing auditions, am I going to have casting directors as I'm walking out going,
you're going to need to Botox it, babes.
The elbow, though. She's got
everything was perfect, but it's just,
I really believed her emotionality for that part of the scene, but the elbows, I feel like we should take the 15-year-old Nepo baby who's white. Yeah. I know that we just talked about, oh, well, editors look at the details, but what, the elbow?
I do think there's some details that don't need to be edited. Like, it reminds, there's a brand called Fashion Nova. I don't know if it's American or British or whatever, but they are notorious for just editing out whole coochies. Like the whole labia will disappear. Like they'll have like a model in a bikini and there is like it's like Barbie doll. There is nothing there. So I feel like some people go a bit too far with trying to make everything look perfect, quote unquote. And I think it's just one of the case of like sexism prevails in every industry and unrealistic beauty standards prevails in every aspect of society. I think sometimes we forget, what does a real human look like?
Yeah.
It's like, why does this have to be aesthetically pleasing? And it's not that it wasn't aesthetically pleasing, like it was just an elbow. I didn't think the average person is going to be like, oh my god, there's skin on her elbow, what the hell?
So what you're saying is, if Colin had his jacket off, if his sleeves were rolled up, if his elbows were out, they would have left the elbows alone. That's what you're telling me, Divya. You're a professional.
I actually don't know, because even men, let's say they're shirtless, they will like abify the men, or like there will be something going on. But I do feel like women have it worse. And that's not a secret.
I know that people were all over this image because of the face swap, but I just feel like I've seen face swaps multiple times. I've seen posters. I'm pretty sure I've sent you one of the My Big Fat Greek Wedding posters where it's basically everybody's head has been popped off and just aren't there dolls where you can take the heads off and swap the heads or something like that? It looked like that, and it was so badly edited. I've seen some heinous, I don't know the name of the movie, but I'm pretty sure I sent you this one too at one point, where it was Sigourney Weaver and Jennifer Love Hewitt, and they look like cartoon stick figures. Their bodies look so weird. I'm like, I don't think these are even real bodies that you've taken and put their heads on. It looks so weird. So I think for me, the face swap was less shocking than the elbow edit because I'm used to face swaps. I'm used to you head swapping. I did not know that I needed to think about my elbows. And now I'm forever going to be going,
you need to add that onto the list of things to buy. Things wrong with women. Number 1, your freaking elbow.
See, we joke about this, Divya, but you know some misogynistic red pill grifter is going to do an entire YouTube video ranting about women's ugly elbows now.
Yeah, they would. Honestly, they would. Maybe they were trying to avoid that if we're trying to be nice about the decisions made, but I feel like maybe they didn't think about that.
Jesus. Scared the bejesus out of me.
We are going to talk more about the face swap, but before we do that, people like to click off of videos before they're finished. So I'm going to hold them in suspense for us to finish this conversation about the face swap. And I would like for you to do your plugs now.
My plugs. Okay. If you like creative commentary about anything, books, design, pop culture, media, and if you're chronically online, then you'll like my channel. You can follow me on It's Divya on YouTube or It's Divya G on basically every other platform. That's it. That's my pitch.
Do you have any specific videos that you're really wanting people to come watch right now?
Well, I did my most recent video where actually this is ongoing. I'm reading every single book that Colleen Hoover has ever published because I really want to get a sense of like, why do people love this author? Will I like this author?
Do they love her?
Probably not. A lot of people do actually love her quite a lot.
I don't mean any disrespect. I'm asking the question solely because every time that name pops up in my YouTube feed, it's a booktuber that's at least at a 7 out of 10 rage-wise, ready to just lay into her and her books.
Yeah, I think YouTube is less friendly towards her, and TikTok loves her quite a lot. There's that coming up, but otherwise, if you're into like poster stuff and book cover stuff, I have a whole series. I have a whole playlist of me analyzing different trends in book covers and movie posters.
Do you still have the video up? I forget the topic, but it's one where you did a whole sketch at the beginning of your video where you were pretending to be, I think, a character in a fan fiction or a character in a book or something. I think it's an older video. But
if it's super old, it's gone.
Okay, well, I just remember watching it and being like, she is so funny and creative, and I just cannot even believe what
was I waking up from bed and it was like, when I wake up, my mother died before I was born.
Yes,
vibes.
Yes.
This is bringing back memories that I forgot I had. That might have gotten on the chopping block.
Oh no! Well, you know what?
I'll just have to redo it.
If you were not an original watcher of Divya for long enough, then you missed out on some classic bangers that will only live on in our brains. But yeah, I just remember thinking that.
I'll find out, but the likelihood is probably not.
Well, even if you want to just pull it out of the archives and post it as a short or something, just so I can rewatch that, because that was
I feel like I need to remake it.
I need to remake it. Because you were just, you know, it's the level of observation skills that you have to pick up on what those books do. And then also write your own version of it, where you're doing it, where it's similar enough that people know what you're referencing, but you also have to twist it to where it's now satire. Yeah, you're so clever. You should be making stuff. Like, more than just YouTube, I mean, like, you're so funny. I will plug, people obviously know my channel because they're on it, but I will say I did my junket interviews for Dead Boy Detectives, a new Netflix series. Go watch it because people write to me and they say, "Oh my God, do the Bridgerton junket." And I love that you say that as if I'm choosing not to do it. That's real funny.
Manifest.
Yeah, and also I did a video essay that was very much I made this for me and not for the algorithm about rom-com musical needle drops. So that is what I will plug. But now getting back to this infamous face swap. Why? Okay, so when I was looking at it, I was trying to figure out what I was looking at. Not just because I was going, okay, they took the face and they either the whole head or the face and they just pick it up, plop it onto a different one. But then I was also confused because I was going, did they mirror it? But then I thought, no, they didn't because the hair is still there. But the hair swoop, it moved.
It's on the other side. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, that is a good point. They could have mirrored it because what probably happened is because the original photo, we're seeing her reflection. They probably got a photo of her where she's facing head on to the camera and then plopped that into the mirror. Or they've like painted it on. They've like stitched some stuff. But I think her hair is like this in the show. It wouldn't be surprising if they just got a photo from a entirely different shoot or the same shoot, but just a different photo and then forgot to mirror it or what?
Yeah, I was just so confused because I was going, well, I know face swapping, head swapping. I've seen that in editing more than once. But then I was so confused because I was just sitting there trying to do quick maths about why did her hair change sides, but then the hair clip is still on the same side. And I'm just going, so what did you do? What was the order? What was the sequence of events of how did we get here? We're already looking at it and going, I don't love this. I like the original more. But then I also was trying to figure out exactly what they did because it's just so weird because then it feels like you did even more work. You made so many edits to this.
Yeah.
And this was the final result.
Now that I look at it, what could have happened is either the first option, different face, they just didn't mirror it because the original photo we're looking at reflection, or they have like taken bits from different photos. There's also a chance the hair could be entirely fake as well, like painted on. But her hair looks like that in her other posters, so I'm assuming it's just like cut and paste, match it. There will be some painting involved as well to make it look more seamless. Just a lot of things has been edited.
Yeah, and you mentioned the facial expression earlier when we first started talking about it. I really prefer the original facial expression because the tone of it's more sultry and smoldering and it matches the energy of Luke in the background. And steaminess is a huge selling point for Netflix's Bridgerton. I mean, people are tuning in to watch a love story, but they also want to watch things get hot and heavy between whomever the main couple is. And I just feel like if they had kept the original face, even if they did make some edits to it, color, for example, it would have been a way of hinting at that steamy vibe, but in a
something's going on.
Yeah, but in a safe for work type of presentation. You don't need to let it all hang out on a poster. You know, you want to make the audience tune in to see wandering hands, thrusting, all of that jazz. That may.
Yeah, we're not quite intruding on this space just yet.
Yeah.
I
clothes
agree.
Are on, so you know, it's safe for work. But the vibe, you know.
The vibe is completely different. I think I already mentioned this before, but it's about, for me, it was the thing about tension. Because the first one had a lot of tension just between them. You're just like, oh, what's gonna... And also, of course, Bridgerton, primarily a romance. But then the second one just has a completely different, like, I'm on my own path. A little bit Cinderella moment, a little bit... I don't want to use the word girl boss, but kind of girl boss moment. She's kind of just like shining.
She does have a business.
Oh, yeah, true. She does write those steamy Gossip Girl letters.
XO, Lady Whistledown.
Yeah, she is the most popular author in the town. So, and the tension is just completely broken. Okay, this might be slightly, what's the word? Not a popular opinion. But I didn't like the way Colin was looking at her in the original raw photo.
Ooh, interesting. Why?
To me, I don't know if it's just the low quality, so I can't entirely decipher his eyes. But it was slightly creepy. But I don't know if that's because I'm not a fan of Colin's character that much anyway. but the way they were looking at each other was slightly creepy. And then in the second one, I think his gaze is slightly shifted, so it's giving more like a and the first one is giving more. I was like,
Yeah, because I can't tell. Maybe they upped the brightness on his face so you can actually see his eyes more. And
I wish we had the raw photo.
Yeah.
The raw photo, because it's like hard to tell when it's so blurry.
See, if Netflix actually knew how to do this game properly, they should have sent you a raw image and you could do a video.
The random internet person.
Yeah. No, because excuse me, if they wanted to be sensible about this, they should have sent you a raw image.
They really should have.
You could do your own Divya edits a Bridgerton poster video.
Ooh,
you do your own edit, and then everyone could go, "Oh my god, she's so talented. Why was this not the real poster?"
But you could copy everything but leave her face. Yeah. That's the changes that would be made.
Edits. You could be like, okay, version 1, 2, 3. Comment your favorite, and there you go. And you do like a real edit to show that you're genuinely super skilled at doing it the proper way. But then you also do just the ridiculous ones for
fake
internet.
Ones.
Yeah.
Who's the Netflix marketing department?
With your gift and your talent and your vision. Are you kidding?
Was there anything else that stood out to you about the editing that we didn't cover?
Not really. I mean, I think they've kind of gone for the very old, what do you call it? Old Hollywood. Very Jessica Rabbit-esque makeup style and hair. Which does look nice, but it's just also uncanny, and they didn't need to do all that. You know, when someone's doing a bit too much, you're like, all right, you don't need to go that far. I'm trying so hard not to like completely be like, this is trash, because I don't think it's trash, but I think there were some decisions made that didn't need to be made.
Basically the elbow and the face.
Yeah, like those are the main things. And I think also why it annoys a lot of us is it boils down to sexism. Like it's 2024. We've seen this time and time again. I think there was like a Marvel, it might be Marvel, edit if it's not, but there was another poster of someone Elizabeth Olsen, and I think they like completely edited her face so that it just didn't look like her, and she's already like a big star, and it was like, why did you have to do that?
Everyone knows what she looks like.
Yeah, that's the thing, and we know what Nicola
yeah.
looks like. She's a really beautiful woman. You don't need to be doing all of this. But I think if they just toned it down a bit, it wouldn't be this bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would just be like the normal level of people being upset.
Yeah, just a normal level of like making it a bit more clean, giving that fantasy feeling. And I wonder if they just didn't quite balance the line of trying to make it look dreamy, book cover-esque. Because I think they were planning, or have they planned on using that for the book movie tie-in cover?
The show will presumably be on for at least 5 more seasons. There's 5 more Bridgertons that have not had their love stories yet. Everybody knows that I'm waiting for Benedict because I've basically...
That's your fave.
Yeah, I've claimed him as my favorite. I call him... I compare him to a capybara because, you know, capybaras, they always get along with everyone. You know, you see them with these apex predators in nature, and they're just
there. They're just
sitting there vibing. Like, they get along with everyone. Yeah. So I just said it randomly in a video, and then people were going, oh my God, that's such an accurate thing. So now I keep calling him that. I give people nicknames on this show. Like, Colin is Mr. No Thoughts Head Empty.
I love that.
It's accurate. Penelope, I call her Penelope O. Featherington because I've decided that the character is Irish.
Oh, because the Irish, yeah.
Yeah, and I won't be swayed against it. Because people, they'll take that, I said that in a video, and then they take it, like they really try to figure out the lore within the show of figuring out if it works or not. I'm going, I don't care if it works or not. I've decided that she's Irish, and I'm going to call her that now. So
stand your ground.
Yeah. Every time I say Penelope O. Featherington, I have an image that says Penelope O. Featherington on it, and I edit that on top. So
I love that.
It's basically, my Bridgerton coverage has devolved into just an escalating series of bits. So if you come in late, you just kind of have to figure it out.
Yeah, you don't get the inside jokes.
Yeah, because I'll say something once and then I go, okay, and that's I'm gonna do it the Irish way and I'm gonna commit to the bit.
The new bit is what Bridgerton, but what did we say before? Bridgerton, but it's Eat the Rich version. Bridgerton, but everything burnt down. Bridgerton, but the working class revolt.
I mean, I want that. I love the show, but you can
enjoy it for what it is. Yeah.
I'm just here for romantic vibes, and that's why I like the original image, because the original image is
it's sultry.
Foreplay via eye
sensual.
contact. Yeah, and then the other one is like, oh, I'm just off looking in this direction.
You're like la 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 la. It's like quite a bit daydreamy, isn't it?
Well,
she's off in her own world.
Truly, but that's relatable, because that's me when I watch my shows and my movies. It's like, I'm not here, I'm in Pandora. I am joining the Na'vi and we are going to fight the Sky People together. I'm ready to go. I don't know how to swim. It's fine. I'll figure it out. Like, I will help you.
Drop me in the deep end. Let's go.
I will help you. Like, I will fight alongside you. I will put on the paint. I'm ready to go.
You with the 2 rubber dinghy things, I don't know what you call it, and then all the like the Na'vi, the sea people,
like this.
the knit words. Yeah,
like,
you're just like,
don't worry,
I got you guys.
Hold on, guys. I'll help out. I'll sneak up on someone. They don't think I'm a threat, because this is not an intimidating dog paddle.
You're like,
all.
It's the taking part that counts.
What's that internet meme or that internet saying of their head's in the right place? Like, they've got spirit. That's me. I don't know how to fight in combat, but I want to help.
Yeah.
So there we go. Exactly. Well, thank you so much, Divya, for coming.
Thank you for having
offering
me.
Your invaluable insight into the world of image editing.
Images.
Yes, because you had things to say that I never would have thought of, and you were able to explain things about the process. And
can I just have a disclaimer if anyone's like a pro editor in the comments trying to at me being like she was completely wrong? This is my opinion.
Of course.
My actual background is in UX design, and I have a master's in that. And photos is more of like YouTube hobbyist, like what do you call it? Like, just intense hobbies. It's not that deep. Low stakes drama.
Yeah.
Disclaimer.
Totally unique, completely not ever been done before, unafraid to reference or not reference.
It's important to hype up our legends. Jane Fonda, she sells her mugshot on merch.
That's iconic. Does she have like a mug?
You can buy her workout tapes and you can buy her mugshot merch.
2-in-1 deal?
I don't know if they have a bundle, but I mean, I'm sure people would buy it. What was that?
Oh my god.
I don't understand StreamYard. They keep upgrading stuff and whatever.
I think it's a Mac OS issue. It's like every time I do, it's not going to do it now. It's just random. Okay. Apparently, if you do stuff like this, like balloons should... Oh, there you go.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's so distracting. What if you're laying someone off and you randomly just...
Wait, wasn't there a jury? No, like there was a video of some type of legal proceeding that was happening over Zoom because of the pandemic, and someone had a cat filter on. And
yeah.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I'm not.
It was British, wasn't it?
I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
I can see that.
I have something to say. Shut up.